希望の象徴だからね。スバルにもまだ希望は残されているよ。
お前は。
Okay, so I wanted to analyze this harmonic progression because I watched the anime and the music is really beautiful, and I wanted to recreate it. Why it is so powerful emotionally, harmonically. So I did it by ear, and after that I wanted to make a quick analysis in order to share. So I started here, but of course the music starts a little before, so I start on the fourth. The music is in G major. It's really romantic in a musical meaning of the term, and classical in some way. Anyway, so I use the Roman numbers to mark the function of the degrees of the chords, like we have to do. So, for instance, this is the C, and this is the fourth degree of the G major scale. Then I used more like jazz notation to mark the chords, and then the notes that belongs to these chords, and it's not in this specific order necessarily. I will show the representation after to see how the voices are distributed. But anyway, what really matters is when a chord is not on the root, on the note that give its name. This is important, and then the rest is not so important. For instance, in this case, it's at 2 or at 9. It's just because in the melody we have this D that is passing by, but it's a C major basically. So then it moves to a C minor. So it's intermodal, modal interchange, or mod mix in French. So when the chord is minor, we use usually lowercase to indicate it. And yes, this is really powerful to have a major chord, then that moves to the minor version of it, and still at 9, but this is kind of optional. Wow, that's kind of complicated, but diminished chords are really powerful to approach another chord, especially when we approach them chromatically. In this case, and in case you don't know, but one of the characteristics of the diminished chord is that they are built by summing up a minor third. So basically it means that this D sharp diminished chord can also be considered as an F sharp diminished chord or an A sharp diminished chord and C. See, so that's kind of cool. And then we move to the one. Same add 9 or add 2, kind of optional. It's in the melody that we have this note. Then we go to the fifth. So that's cool because, you know, on the bass we have the F sharp. So that's the third of the chord. It's a D, D dominant or D major in this case. And usually when we have a note at the base of a chord that is not the note that gives it its name, it's probably due to bass movement. It's because it creates some nice movement in the bass, and that's it. Sus4. So instead of having a B, that would be the third, we have the fourth, C. So it's suspended. It's not as stable as a basic major triad, but it adds some color. Yeah, and then we move to the normal G major triad. Yeah, this is cool. This is a secondary dominant, so you know, the sixth degree. So just we can see like a tonality as some kind of solar system, let's say, where the first will be like the sun, and you know, and we have 7 different planets, let's say, and you know, each of them has its own function and in some kind of importance in this, you know, hierarchy of this system. So now we are approaching the 6th, but for a small amount of time we can consider that the 6th would kind of become like the new sun of another auxiliary system, and then it can provide all kind of other chords, and the most common of it is the 5th, because the 5th is like the second pillar of the tonal system, you know, the sun and let's say the earth, because we are humans, so a little anthropocentric, but the 5th degree is extremely important in tonality. So we are approaching the 6th degree of the G major system by its own 5th degree. Okay, so in this case this is a B, and it's on the D sharp, so on the 3rd as well. So secondary dominant, really powerful technique. Basically any chord can be approached by its dominant. It's kind of, it always works, you know, it's a given. Yeah, so the same, but the first one was like a major triad, and now it becomes 7th, so dominant 7th. So we add the A, basically. And then we move finally to this chord that has been approached, so the 6th degree of the G major scale, that is the E minor, in this case sus4. So instead of having a G, we have a A. Then we go back to the 4th that we had at the beginning. Again, same movement, minor as well. And we resolve to the on the 1. Okay, so 7th, 5th, well, so we already saw that, so 5th degree dropped on the 3rd. And then it's some kind of the second part of this music. So it starts with a really majestic G major, augmented. So instead of having the perfect 5th of the chord, so the D, you have the G sharp, so augmented chord. We move to the 2nd degree. Sorry, let me think. -7. Oh yeah, no 5. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but indeed there is no 5th in the chord at that moment, and it is dropped on the G. Oh really? Oh yes. Okay, sorry, I was a little confused because on this part the bass is staying on the G. So basically for this chord that is A minor 7th, the G is the minor 7th of the chord, but in this case it is at the bass. Okay, so basically we add G before and we stay on the G, then we move on this one, so same chord that we already saw, and same as before. Yeah, okay, so yeah, oh my god, this is really cool. A minor 7th minor chord with major seventh. So it adds a lot of tension. Basically, this note is in the melody, and it is some kind of really, a tension to lead to another note that to come. But if we really analyze the chord, it's cool because we have a minor third, but a major seventh. So kind of really nice chord with a lot of tension. A regular second degree, ace. We add the fourth or the 11th, so the D, and again the minor seventh. This second degree kind of passes will resolve on the first, and this one then is major seventh, so with the F sharp, flat 4. Yeah, so yeah, maybe a little hard, this one. It's mostly, it's due to the melody. The melody is adding a lot of tension. Is it really? Yeah, it's part of the chord. But oh yeah. Actually, this note was used to approach this new chord. So this is the third degree, so the B minor, and we stay on this one for kind of a long time. It's almost like it feels like we modulate somewhere else, because it's like a new palette of colors, but basically it's part of the G major system. It's just third degree, but it adds a lot of new fresh ideas in the music, I think, with a new theme. And then another secondary dominant of the second degree, so the A, so the A minor, so we approach it with the E major chord. Actually, that's the goal of it. Yeah, this one is cool. So half diminished. Yeah, this is really interesting because this chord, it could be explained like if at this moment, we would not be in the G major system, but like in the G minor system, where the second degree of the G minor scale will be an A minor 7 flat 5. So it could be explained like that. And again, it adds some kind of tension that will be resolved with the chord to come, that is the Sun. Yeah, the same movement like we had before, dominant 7th of the 6th. And that's it. So let's check the session. So it starts with the classical guitar. I was playing it without nails. And so this gives the harmonic progressions. Then it's only string orchestra. That's it. So we have the voices, the voice of the violins, the violas, the cellos, and the bass. And this is it. Really string orchestra. And actually the main star of this music is the harmony. Even there is no, I think it's only legato strings, no spiccato, staccato, marcato, whatever. It's just legato. The idea is just to have the harmonic progressions that moves all the emotions. The cellos are kind of more, they do a lot of arpeggios, so they move a little more. Bass is really stable, and yeah, this is it. There is some horns later that adds complexity to the chords, and the chimes. The chimes are really important. They add some fairy, some majestic feeling to the music. Also, we can see that there is some movement in the tempo, so it slows down at that moment when it starts to be really majestic. And this is it. It's super slow, the tempo, like 48, really slow. And not much to say. What I did for the CCs is that I was using a Sensel Morph. That is some kind of pressure tablet, like a tablet, a graphic tablet, but used for music or all kind of digital activities, I would say. And yes, I was using it because it's MPE, but in this case it's not so important because it's legato, so there is one note at a time, but mostly because I was using the pressure as the modulator at the mod wheel, you know, so all the expression is did by hand while playing the melody, so that's interesting for all of them. And I think this adds a lot to the expression. Very strong harmonic progression, the correct instruments, and then expression, even if for this one we see not so much movement. So yeah, really nothing special to say about this song. It is very simple. It's all in the harmony, basically. Some reverbs, of course. And this is it. So for the mix, really there is nothing, just a few adjustments in the final volume. And this is it, only a reverb, an altiverb for every instrument, and nothing else, no EQ, no comp, no ETT. It sounds just good like that, you know, with the proper instrument, the proper music first, and the expression by the CC is doing a lot, is adding a lot to the final value of this. Thank you, bye.